So listen, if you're not too into the idea of a World War II era game coming later this year for Call of Duty 2021, I'm kind of right there with you, but there may actually be some light at the end of the tunnel per se, as like we've seen with one other time in COD history, we may actually have some information regarding the following entries after Call of Duty 2021. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today, all the way out to Call of Duty 2023, as crazy as that sounds. But there may actually be good reason here for that discussion. But as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. What are your overall thoughts over the next coming years of Call of Duty? Are you guys optimistic? Are you looking forward to that light at the end of the tunnel per se again? Or maybe not so much? Do you think we're on a slippery slope? Whatever it is, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoy the video, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Call of Duty, even outwards to Call of Duty 2023 information and everything beforehand. If you're interested in any of that, hit that subscribe button. That said, let's jump right into it. So as a setup, it's absolutely weird that we're already even considering 2023. I mean, we don't even know for certain what Call of Duty 2021 is, let alone Call of Duty 2022. We of course have all these rumors regarding World War II Vanguard developed by Sledgehammer Games, but while it's unlikely to happen, given that nothing is officially revealed, there is that slim chance that everything we knew was wrong and that Sledgehammer's like, psych, here's a modern game, let's kill it. And everything goes off without a hitch. But realistically, that's probably not gonna happen. We're probably gonna see these rumors come to fruition where it is a World War II era game, and we have something like that for the next year. But what's odd to consider is that this isn't the first time that we've seen a situation like this, where we learn about the future titles before the upcoming one is ever revealed. But it is a first when it comes to how far out we're discussing. The last time that we saw something like this was during the main year of Black Ops 4. I remember it clear as day. I was driving home from my good friend Carnage Apollo's graduation to then turn around and pack up for a trip 2 days later where we were going to LA, in which we were going to visit Infinity Ward, and they were going to show off a little bit of Modern Warfare. But at the time, we had no idea it would be Modern Warfare, even so much so up to the point where up until we were in the lobby of Infinity Ward, the studio, it was just named Call of Duty 2019 on the NDAs that we ended up signing. Before we had any idea privately or publicly of what Modern Warfare would be, during that trip before that, news broke that some feud between Sledgehammer and Raven had caused Treyarch to have to be tapped to complete Call of Duty 2020, with what we now know as Black Ops Cold War. That was in May of 2019, a whole year and a half almost before Cold War was officially revealed via Warzone live event. That was absurd to consider then, but alas, everything that we learned was true, or at least for the most part, in what we knew of in the public sector. I don't think that we'll ever know whether it's fully confirmed that there was a feud or inability to finish a project between Sledge and Raven, just because that would affect investor confidence, and Activision doesn't like that. But I digress. It seems the same can be said about this rumor on deck for today, but with a little further out in regards to what we'll be discussing. That rumor that for Call of Duty 2023, we'll see a Black Ops 2 style game reminiscent of the classic for Treyarch's next COD. Coming from Tom Henderson, who we've talked about here many a times on the channel, and in recent times has had an impeccable track record, he's on the short list of those that I'd trust to at least hear out when it comes to things like this. But when it came to that content we discussed here a little bit over this weekend in regards to Vanguard and the information coming up with that, he ended up ending his dedicated video by talking a bit about how he's heard of the content lineup for the next few years, saying, and I quote, "I've been told that Treyarch are working on a Black Ops 2 style type game where it's not going to be exosuits, it will be boots on the ground, but it will be a slightly futuristic title." Now that's a bombshell to consider in a number of different reasons. One, kind of confirming that Modern Warfare air quote 2 is happening. That's of course probably a no-brainer after the success that Modern Warfare 2019 had, but also to the fact that Black Ops 2 is by many regarded as one of the best Call of Duty titles, and if you're like me, the best out there. Number 3, that it's 2 blockbuster titles, one after another presumably, and 4, well, it's a big name that we're hearing about in 2021, not 2022 or even a few months beforehand in 2023. So let's talk about this a little bit, because I think there's a number of different ways that we can talk about this in a discussion and some things we need to consider. One of the best things that I heard here out of this was that there's either somebody with very loose lips in Activision or any studio working on this, or the COD cycle has just become incredibly predictable. And I think that's a really great summary of it, but I also think it's a little bit of both. I think that leaks are going to happen in any regard, but I wholeheartedly believe that there's a high possibility of this being correct, not only because Tom has come through in the past, but also logically speaking, it just makes a ton of sense. We talked about before the other day how Vanguard was likely greenlit at a time before Modern Warfare's initial success and the subsequent boom that came along with Warzone afterwards, so at a time of what was a safe and incredibly selling bet for Activision. However, with the landscape of the industry and recent successes elsewhere proving that World War II may be a more tired genre than initially thought, they have other feedback from consumers and of course raw data that could just provide a better outlook in the future. That's just the unfortunate gamble of creating and greenlighting games 2 to 3 years in advance. That sentiment may not be the same as it was when it was first initially conceptualized. When I think about what the community wants and what I've seen around the number of forums, videos, tweets, live streams, you name it, a World War II era is always something that's on the outside looking in by comparison. And when you look at the decade-long argument of Modern Warfare versus Black Ops, it's always a split decision with huge fandoms for each. With Modern Warfare getting that reboot treatment and doing incredible, if I'm not mistaken, making its way into the top 5 best-selling COD games of all time, even before Warzone, and then after Warzone being the best-selling Call of Duty of all time, who in their right mind wouldn't want to try and capitalize on the equally as popular brand on the other side of the aisle? Logically speaking, that is such easy cash for Activision, and it's something that, if done right, like Modern Warfare in a lot of regards to storytelling and content offerings, if done right, would be a blockbuster again. Now, I think they tried to do that with Black Ops Cold War, taking what was likely just a Cold War era game developed by Sledgehammer and Raven, and then giving it that Black Ops twist and branding, but with a less than complete game and an era that really wasn't as hard-hitting and compelling to many as a modern era game. Black Ops 2 kind of capturing that sort of near future aesthetic would be a great way to try again here at this, and I think would hit way better in terms of content reception than a Cold War era game did. And for that, I don't see a way that they pass that up. I mean, when's the last time you saw 2 Call of Duty titles blow people out of the water back to back? Granted, there's always going to be people who love a game and those who hate a game, but a back-to-back lineup of a Modern Warfare 2 or a sequel to Modern Warfare 2019, followed by a near future, maybe 2025, 2030 set title that's a properly developed Black Ops game, I don't think that we've seen that kind of fanfare since Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2 back in 2011 and 2012. Talk about bringing back the peak Call of Duty feeling. And with Warzone still likely being at the side for both, that'd be a huge revenue and player boost for both titles. But I guess right now we can really only ask, how accurate is that statement really? I mean, at the moment, all you can really do is take that statement as a statement and not as gospel, and as you should. Leaks of any nature are always subject to speculation and scrutiny, and a lot of things change behind the scenes without players on the surface ever really knowing. There is so much stuff that is cut from Call of Duty history that, unless you really dig into it, you'd never know about, and things that at the time were accurate reporting, but actually didn't end up happening. One of the biggest ones that I always think about is supply drops within Modern Warfare. That decision, by all accounts, if you dig into it, really looks like it was made within the last month before Modern Warfare actually launched. But that could be wrong, that could be right. Again, we'll never really know, but things change on the back end. So do take this with a grain of salt, but also know that there is quite a long-running and accurate track record here for Tom, and this isn't the first time we've seen something like this happen, where something is accurately reported so far down the line. But that's where I guess I'm going to turn it over to you guys and leave the discussion here. What do you guys think in regards to Call of Duty 2023, as strange as that sounds to say? Would you like to see a Call of Duty Black Ops 2 style game following Infinity Ward's likely Modern Warfare sequel as of next year? Personally, I think that's a killer lineup, and honestly, I wish we would have seen a title and era that was a bit more appealing to the masses this year to have a solid 3-year lineup. That's something we haven't seen in, I think, as long as the 3-year dev cycle was introduced. So while this year may look grim perhaps for Vanguard's content and main year of support, I do think that there at least seems to be some light at the end of the tunnel if this is some accurate reporting and things actually follow how we think with this. Personally, I hope it turns out to be true. I'd love to see a narrative sequel to Modern Warfare and then see what happens with a Black Ops game that's directly related to the era, and given the new Modern Warfare universe and Black Ops universes are now intertwined, that'd be interesting to see how that story development and maybe even crossovers could happen. But anyways, let me know your thoughts down below. Before we go, a big thank you to people like Matthew, Angie, Ben, Jay, Clubber, Coney, John, and Jakari for showing some love and using code ESPRESSO in the Modern Warfare, Cold War, or Warzone item shop. If you guys ever find anything at all interesting and you'd like to help support the channel a little further, that's a great way to do so, but as always, it's entirely optional. Never feel pressured to do so. If you do decide to do that, feel free to tweet me a picture. I'd love to shout out some of your generous support in upcoming videos. But again, leave your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below, and of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so I'm a single thing all things Call of Duty, even outwards of 2023, as crazy again bland as that sounds, we'll keep you covered with anything you need to know. If you're interested in any of that, hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get kickbacks out of YouTube. Probably live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.